Hey y'all, what's up? I just looked at the clock and it was 5:55. Ooh, that is always such a beautiful message for me and freedom, which actually takes me right into the first thing that I wanted to speak about, which is some random, not so random, divinely guided nuggets that I gathered from the Gene Key event in London this past weekend. It was so nourishing and so rewarding to be there. Richard Rudd, the founder of the Gene Keys, was speaking at the Friend's House in London just the last weekend in November. So it was profound to see him in that environment. I felt like he was really at ease being in his home country, and he even said himself not being on camera there as he was the first time I saw him speak, which was in Colorado at Gaia, which was an incredible talk, 2-day event. Similar to the 2-day event in London, however, there was just a little bit more polished, potentially filtered energy at the Gaia event because it is live streamed and it is TV. And I think there's certain pressures as a speaker as well when you are aware that what you are creating is so permanent and lasting and also expansive in the sense of how many people at once are hearing it. And so the London event, he felt very relaxed. He felt very cozy. It was more of an intimate feeling circle, even though there was 600 plus people there, which is insane to even think about. We were gathered in this beautiful auditorium that was shaped like a pyramid. And it was, you walk in and the stage is there on the ground level, and then all the seating comes up all around, facing the stage on all corners. And it kind of goes up, and then the space at the top forms this triangle type pyramid shape that goes to a skylight at the top of the ceiling. And it was just beautiful. I mean, you just see the light pouring in, and then all the people seated, and the stage there down in the middle, and there just wasn't a bad seat in the place. It was so beautifully designed. I don't think I've ever been in an auditorium like that. It reminded me of some of the movies, the American movies I've seen, where they're showing one of the main characters, in a large lecture hall at a university in the UK when they're studying abroad or something like that. It definitely reminded me of that energy. Anyway, beautiful space. Back to my 5-5. So Richard spoke about a few things I've got jotted down in my notebook, and I'm literally just going to drop some things first. And then I'm just going to flow through my diary because there are several things that I've highlighted that are just so precious. So precious to me. Oh, this one I just got reminded of, but I am not going to share this on here because there's a lot of people that watch this that also come to my cacao circles, and I want it to be a surprise for a cacao circle. We might do it this Friday. Cacao circle at Prana Salt Cave this Friday. If you're available, please come. I think that's the 8th. 6th. Come December 6th, 2024, if you're here. Okay, so the 55. Let's start there, Christina, before we get distracted. Gene Key 55. I've spoken about it before. It is the one and only gene key out of the 64 gene keys that has the same shadow, that has the same gift and city, rather. The shadow is victimization. The gift and the city are freedom. Richard said, and this was one of the last and final nuggets he dropped on us, and I happened to be sitting up at the top of one of the sides of the auditorium next to 3 other sleeping phoenixes. And if you know anything about the incarnation cross of the sleeping phoenix, you know that the 55 is an extremely important part of the sleeping phoenix, and that is why 2027 onward is going to be such an important time, because it is the time of the sleeping phoenix, and the 55 therefore is even more potent and important. So Richard says, it is the one key that if I could go back and change the name of, I would rename the gift Romance with a capital R. And me and the other sleeping phoenixes look at each other and we're just like, oh, he just spoke to our soul. And so I'm now teaching the 55 in that way because it just feels so true. I feel like I'm a carrier of the 55. I have the right to rename it as I deem fit and tell the story every time I do. So yeah, the shadow of victimization, the gift of romance, and the city of freedom. There's such a romantic energy with the 55. It is literally the dragon's fly dream. It is high romance. And he says that in his transmission, but he did not name the gift romance. So it's very interesting. I often wonder when someone has a transmission like this, it's pretty nearly impossible to go back and edit it and add to, which is wild to think about because we're growing and expanding and gathering more information. And so it's just one of those things about publishing a book. Eventually you will likely outlearn yourself, and then the book may have concepts that you wish you could go back and like update them all. But also that's sort of the beauty. A book or even art, it captures the essence of a time. And now Richard's been given more information, and now we're given more information, and it's just gorgeous. Other thing I thought was really, really cool, when we first walked in, they had these little cards for us to grab in in little baskets, and we were greeted, and it was like, pick a card. So when you pick it and flip it, it's a city of a gene key. And so this is the 31. This is the first one I picked on day one, and it's humility. And it just, really spoke to me. Really, really spoke to me. It relates to leadership. And so that was beautiful. And then on day 2, my second card, I laugh. It is transparency, which is the 59. And it is my purpose sphere. 59.6. So cool. Programming partner of the 55. Just all of it was speaking to me. We were just in how when you're in a quantum field, a vortex where synchronicities and coincidences are common. It is just fucking cool. I want to live there all the time. And most of the time I do, to be honest with you. So a few nuggets here on what Richard was saying. At one point he was speaking about parenting. It was a question that came up, and someone was just like, how can we parent and guide children? It's very complex to share the entire gene keys with a child. Like, how would you recommend we do this? And Richard suggested, when parenting, hold the child's cities as a high-minded concept. It's a warm place for them to arrive and hold on to their highest for them. So essentially he was saying it's like conscious neglect. So you're neglecting to see the child as they might be presenting themselves, but rather you're consciously neglecting what they might be presenting to you, which could be their shadows. And instead saying like, I am seeing freedom. I am seeing universal love. I am seeing presence. I am seeing majesty. Like holding those cities and just allowing that to be this really, I love it, this warm place for them to arrive. It's a prayer. It's prayer, and prayer we know goes somewhere. So I've even thought about that with our partnerships of, when you're meeting with a client or when you're coming together with a loved one, just holding those cities and maybe even the gifts for them. I'm thinking of my mother's, that her life's work is the 18, and it's all about integrity and perfection, and just holding that idea. And even when she might be going through something, using that idea of conscious neglect, and instead of seeing maybe her judgment of herself or others, instead seeing that highest expression of perfection, because within the shadow is the quintessence of the city and the gift. So I really love that. That really stuck out to me. One of the other things that Richard expanded on was the Star Pearl sequence. I believe spring or early next year, 2025, he's going to have an online retreat for the Star Pearl. And him and Elijah, his team member there, Elijah, they were joking about 3 new gene keys. And so essentially they are adding in 3 new gene keys on top of your pearl sequence, which creates the Star Pearl. And there's all these different potential pathways that have opened up, and ways to understand your abundance and your your contribution to the culture, your life's work, your branding, your blocks around bringing in abundance, your blocks around connecting with the right people, sharing the message in the way that it most needs to be expressed, etc. So the star pearl is really fascinating. It brings in Uranus, Mercury, and Saturn. Those are the three keys that are coming in, which is really cool. I believe as well on the website there's like a beta test for the star pearl, and it'll generate those 3 extra points for you and show you it, and you can click on them and see them. I wrote mine down, and I'm just being reminded of it now, and I'm like, oh, so good. I haven't even really had time to just sit with that and contemplate it. I'm working on the golden path right now with a group of beautiful beings. He went through several mudras and activations with our word and our prayers and these different sort of hand positions that were just really beautiful to watch the group do, and we sort of called it back to him after he would say it. One of them, for example, was, "May solace abound in our life, touching all who we meet." And that was a mudra over the heart, just the left hand and the right hand. May solace abound in our life, touching all who we meet. You can sort of include the earth, bring it back into your heart, play with that. It's so beautiful. Let me see if anything else pops out here. We covered a lot with the culture sphere, which is in the pearl sequence, and the core wound, which is in the Venus/pearl sequence. It's the gateway key that sort of turns us from intimate relationships to business or cultural relationships. And he went through a lot of the lines with that. That was really awesome. And the concept was around the new leader, and he went through what the first line, the second line, the third line, how that could look all the way up to the 6th line, and your role as a leader, what you are here to give. It was really cool. Mine is a 5th line, which is about leader as a sage. And it said the key here is reluctant when asked, but they are humble to answer with a solution. I really love that. That's been really percolating with me. It's about being solution-based, ready to make a wide impact, leader, practical. It's my one and only 5th line in my hologenetic profile, so it really, I feel like it really shines. Like it gets especially because it's in my culture. So it's like what I'm here to give the collective, and I really see it shine so much. Okay, let's see here. Oh, another mudra. This is a beautiful one. May kindness resound in our voice, softening the way that lies ahead. And that's the right hand over left fist. May kindness resound in our voice, softening the way that lies ahead. Really beautiful. I hope this is entertaining for you guys. There's so much. I just saw the thing I'm not going to share with you guys. Come to a cacao circle and I'll share it with you. And then once I do it in a cacao circle, I'll share with you what this is. It is so special. It's really, really special. Okay, the core wounding. Core wound. Highly recommend you check out your core wound gene key. I wish I had one to like show you. Look it up, check it out. You'll be able to find it in your chart. Again, we went through not the specifics of the keys, but more so the lines, all 6 lines, and how you are holding a specific core wound. You have a core wound 1 through 6. It's one of those. But it represents a collective wounding. You are just the advocate or the volunteer or the tribute to volunteer to transmute and heal that through your own unique personal experiences. So mine is the sixth line, and that's all about separation. And there's a deep collective shadow there of indifference within that separation. And it, wow, boy, does that really speak to me. That's when wounding is activated, or when I'm wounded, or my heart is wounded, I will go to pulling my soul and my spirit out of this human experience. It's more than going cold. It's numbing, escaping. It's extremely painful for others. I've really witnessed them feel, I've witnessed it cause a lot of pain in people around me. And it's also caused a lot of pain in myself. It's a really deeply personal one, as you can tell. And when I envision myself there as I just was, going into separation, and why I do it and when I do it, it is so not me. And at the same time, it is so easy for me to access and go into that space. And it creates such a severing of my life force and a severing of the connection with another. And it is the furthest from my truth. And truth is the medicine here of separation. And the truth is, I am a very vast soul that is meant to incarnate here. I'm meant to be here now. And so a beautiful prayer for the sixth line is owning that aloofness, owning that indifference, and literally asking to reclaim parts of myself. I immediately thought of the shamanic process of soul retrieval. Standing in my truth, being here now, come in and be here, keep embodying, keep being here. And that's just so deep for me. Really, really deep. Maybe I'll do a Phoenix Diary on all the lines if you guys are interested in the core wound line. I think I'll end there as well. Yeah, unless there's one more thing on this last page. Oh, here's a few more mudras. How about we end with some of these prayers? I wrote them all down. May light flower in our hearts. May warmth radiate our belly, bringing prosperity to all. May purity shimmer in our bones, filling us with the light of ancient stars. May kindness resound in our voice, softening the way that lies ahead. May clarity shine through our mind as we lie in the arms of the infinite beloved. May solace abound in the world, bringing all beings into perfect union. And so it is. I love you. I'll see you soon.